Hey everybody, I am John Anderson, Director of Media for Nebraska Firearms Owners Association. We are Nebraskans' voice for Second Amendment issues. We're followed by almost 30,000 Nebraskans now who strongly believe in the rights and freedoms protected by the Second Amendment. We invited candidates running for Congress, Governor, Nebraska State Legislature, City Council, and County Sheriff to participate in our Online Townhall Series, Meet the Candidates. Our format for this event is an online recorded interview. Each recording is unedited. Our members have prepared questions to assess candidates running for elected office. I'd like to introduce Joshua Ramsey, who is running for Nebraska State Legislature, District 24. Joshua, thanks for joining us tonight. Is it Joshua, Josh, does it matter?
Either one's fine. Joshua's
Okay.
the full name, but...
All right, well, let's jump into the questions here. The first question is, why did you agree to participate in this online town hall with Nebraska Firearms Owners Association?
So as a firearm owner myself, I saw your guys post the Meet the Candidates announcement, and that was unfortunately the first time I had heard of you. So I looked you guys up, and you seemed like a fantastic group. So I thought, well, I want people to, that think like I do to know about my candidacy. So, but yeah, as a firearm owner myself, I I think you guys are a great group. So, plan on following you further.
All right. Next, our members wanted to know, what is your favorite firearm and how often do you shoot it?
Yeah, so I would say my favorite firearm is my Walther PPS, and that one is fairly new, so I haven't really shot it recently. I think I've only shot it one time. So, but then before that, I have a Plinkster, and I have friends who have let me use others, but whether it's be like a shotgun or there's Mossberg that I'm a fan of and tried out. It's called the Shockwave, but probably the Walther PPS is my favorite.
All right, now we'd like to hear, what is the number one purpose of government?
To protect the rights of the people.
All right. Our members have several issues of interest. Let's dive in with the next question. What are you going to do to protect Nebraskans from the federal government's attempts to restrict the Second Amendment?
Yes, so I believe the Second Amendment is absolute. So in terms of what I would do in the legislature, it would be to, first, I was saddened to see that the constitutional carry did not pass recently, but the further what I would do is continue to bring up that sort of legislation, taking it out of the committee if possible, and then bringing it to the floor for debate. I've appreciated the way Coulterman, the guy who I would be replacing, has voted, but I wish that he did more discussing on behalf of our citizens. So the main thing I can promise to do is that I would bring forward bills that need to be argued on the floor, and then do the arguing myself in front of the Senate floor. So.
Okay, now we'll go a bit further with some specific issues that we are addressing in Nebraska lately. What is your position on constitutional carry, and what will you do or have you done in support of that position?
So I haven't done anything so far other than following the legislature. And like I said, I wish that had passed this last week. But so as far as constitutional carry, I'm very in favor of it. I wish that would have passed. But the goofy thing about the legislature is you need 33 votes, and we didn't have more than 31. So I can promise that my vote would be on that issue. So I would definitely vote yes for constitutional carry.
Right. How about your position on red flag laws, and what will you do or have you done in support of that position?
So I am against red flag laws in general. I think there are already laws on the books to curtail, firearm owners from, or curtail people from owning firearms that are, let's say mentally handicapped or crazy, or deemed insane, or that have actual, actionable records on their record to, remove firearms from dangerous people. But I think like I said, I think the Second Amendment is absolute. Shall not be infringed is pretty specific. So in any sort of situation where you're trying to curtail people from doing something bad, we always need to remember that you can do more harm than good by removing firearms from people who are law-abiding citizens otherwise.
Okay. As one of the few states without it, let's discuss your thoughts on state preemption of firearm laws. And what will you do or have you done in support of that position?
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, I think the constitutional carry should have passed, but in terms of the state preemption of firearms, there's a constitutional precedent for that, because since the right to keep and bear arms is constitutional, the other constitutional argument is the 10th Amendment, that the state, not the federal government, can determine who gets to have the right to exercise that right. So the steps I would take essentially are just that, we need to have laws on the books, whether it be that we have constitutional carry, or that we have at least a broader freedom to keep and bear arms, whether it be specific weapons or not. But like I said, the Second Amendment is pretty absolute. So I think the necessary step would be to get us to a sanctuary state, essentially.
All right. Recently, we had an opportunity to address some much needed protections via LB 300 Castle Doctrine. What are your thoughts on Castle Doctrine, and what will you do or have you done in support of that position?
So I think Castle Doctrine is absolutely needs to stay. We have the right to defend ourselves, especially in our homes. It should not be the duty of somebody to retreat at all, in my opinion. If a person is threatening them or their family, excuse me if that just made a noise there. But so in terms of the Castle Doctrine, I'm very much in favor of keeping that, because if somebody comes to your home and threatens your family, you shouldn't have a duty to retreat at all. And even further, I would say duty to retreat is kind of a nonsense regulation, in my opinion.
All right, that brings us to the next question. In our state, we don't have the ability to remain in a place where we are legally allowed to be, and we have a duty to retreat. Mm-hmm. So what are your thoughts on duty to retreat, and what will you do or what have you done in support of that position?
Right. So, like I said, I think the duty to retreat is ridiculous. If, for instance, I can think of several scenarios which you shouldn't have to be forced as a citizen to retreat. Say you're at a park with your kid. I don't think that the law should give a threatening person any leeway in terms of saying that the other party should have retreated. So in general, yeah, I'm against a duty to retreat from a legal standpoint. I think there's situations that may be wise, but it's not. I shouldn't. I would rather it was not worded that you have a duty to retreat before you have the duty to defend yourself.
In general, are there any specific gun laws you think should get repealed?
Well, that would be one. But then I suppose, I don't know if that is meant to be broadly, but especially anything that limits the type of weapon you can own, I'm fairly against that. So, for instance, I think in most of Nebraska, you're allowed to purchase a rifle, for instance, but you're not allowed to purchase a firearm or a handgun without a permit. So I think the process should be the same for whatever weapon you have. And I think more broadly, we should allow people to purchase whatever weapons they deem is necessary for their personal protection.
All right. NFOA believes in education. What is your position on mandating firearm safety classes or programs in K through 12 public schools?
So this one might be a little bit more of a broad answer, but I would say I'm in favor of education. Mandating it, I'm not sure I'm in favor of that. So I would say I'm in favor of having people, especially if we're going with a K through 12 range, I'd be in favor of having people like, let's say, junior, senior year, having the opportunity and the training to, go through the process, purchase the firearm, use it, be trained in how to use it, be trained in the safety for it. Even sooner might be, say even middle school. I would say that's fine. K through 12, I'm a little bit hesitant on that one. But I'm a very big proponent of having as much education as you can on firearms. And if we can get, kids to feel more broadly competent with firearms, I think that takes away a lot of the scary. So that would be my suggestion is, yeah, maybe not mandating it, but I'm in favor of having the education available.
Okay. Being a 2A supporter, what is your position on the intent and purpose of the Second Amendment?
Right. So 2A is the right to keep and bear arms. And I would say that the other implication is that it is the right to defend one's life and others' life. So the way it's worded is the right to keep and bear arms is necessary for a free society. So, like I've said before, it's pretty broad and it's pretty specific as to what it stands for. So, I would say for sure I'm very much more in favor of having people kind of desensitized to the way that it's portrayed in the media or in even in our government. It should not be as scary as some people make it to own a firearm and to I've seen that around social media. We have t-shirts that are on there that say "We are the militia." I am the militia. So that's part of your duty as a citizen. I would say that goes along with your right is that you're supposed to be involved. You're supposed to be understanding your rights and your privileges and to protect others.
All right, and lastly, let's move to the Nebraska Constitution. How will Article 1, Section 1, the Statement of Rights of the Nebraska Constitution, impact your decision-making in the role you are pursuing?
Yeah, and actually, if I can selfishly, that's actually my platform too. So it's life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's the fundamental rights we have as citizens of the United States, but also as citizens of Nebraska. Article 1, Section 1 just essentially says ditto to the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. So I, if I could say everything, that would be my answer. But specifically, anything that would negate those rights, that needs to be fought, and anything that would support those rights, that needs to be supported.
All right. So if anyone has any questions, would like to reach out to you to follow up or get some clarification on any of the answers that you've given tonight, how can someone reach you?
Yeah, so my website is actually joshuaramsey.org, so it's just my name, joshuaramsey.org, not .com. That's actually a gay Canadian singer, so that's not me. So joshuaramsey.org, that's my website, and you can leave a comment on my platform, or you can message the email that's attached to it, and I'd love to hear feedback from you folks especially, and from people broadly. So.
All right. So again, these questions were compiled by the members. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to sit down and answer them on behalf of the members and NFOA. Joshua, thank you so much for your time and for giving us a little bit of it.